What is up, everybody? Welcome into this Friday episode of Flippin' Bats. We got so much good stuff coming at you. Tale of the tape, the best weekend series out there. We got Panic or Patience, where we're going to give about 5 teams and say whether it's time to panic or be patient. And of course, things that make you go, as well as some Julio Rodriguez struggles to start the year. This one's going to be a blast. Let's get to it.
It's a blowout. 8th inning, 10-3. Bases are loaded for Verlander, who waits on a 3-0 pitch. He swings, and it's a high fly ball. Deep center field. It is gone. Home run. And a huge bat flip to celebrate. All right, Ben, start the show already.
What is up, my friends? Happy Friday. Alex, I got a question for you. When you look at me, do you notice anything different?
Howdy, partner, buddy. Ben. I couldn't look at you through the whole open. If you're listening and not watching, Ben is wearing a cowboy hat, but it looks like a little kid cowboy hat that's just a bit too small for his head.
Explain,
why are you wearing this?
So our fantasy baseball league, the punishment for the week if you come in last place is you have to wear this for a day. And shout out to John Marcus, director. I was playing against him, the director of the show, and he beat me, and I came in last place. So I'm doing my due diligence and wearing the hat as I am supposed to. And I was in first place when this happened, and I came in dead last. So
he told me in my ear, you might have to do this again. Are you in last place again?
No, I'm winning. I'm fine.
Oh, okay.
I'm fine.
Maybe.
But yeah, that's the reasoning for this, and I'm just doing what I'm supposed. Yeah. So you could notice, is what you're saying.
Just a little bit. Just a tad bit. I literally had my hand up like this during your whole show opening. So I was like, "Don't laugh, don't laugh, don't laugh, don't do it. You can hold it together. No, you can't, Curry. No, you can't."
Yep. So that's the reasoning for this. But it's Friday, and it's also
Yeah.
Nothing says fun Friday like
Fun Friday.
Cowboy
I like it.
hat.
I like it. Power Hour Friday. Let's go.
Yeah. Well, okay, but.
And it's done.
Yeah.
You did it. Nice job. Your hair is questionable, but that's okay.
Thank you.
You can get it together. Someone who has not gotten it together yet.
Yep.
Julio Rodriguez. Let's dive into J-Rod.
It's been a very, very tough start for the year for Julio Rodriguez. And, I was hesitant to even talk about this at a certain point because when his career started last year, right, he was fine.
Yeah.
He was fine at first and then really struggled. But now we're seeing Julio fall to the 200 mark. He's down around the Mendoza line. He fell in the lineup from leadoff to 6th in the lineup. So from what we saw last year, from struggles for a couple weeks to start the year, is now struggles over a month and a half of a season. And I really did some deep diving into what this could be from. Why is he struggling? What is going on here? Because he's way too talented of a player. And what I found is a couple things that were interesting. Last year, through the first couple months of the year, he had an average exit velo of 91.5. This year, it's 91.1, right? Around the same. Average exit velo comes from every ball you put into play, how hard you're hitting the ball on average. 45% hard hit rate last year compared to 45 this year. So to me, the hard contact is still there. The difference comes down to plate discipline. That's where we're seeing the massive, massive difference with Julio so far this year. His previous high for strikeouts in a month was 31 done in June of last season. That was only 1 month. There's only 1 month he struck out more than 30 times. This month, in the month of May, he's on pace to strike out over 40 times. He had 31 strikeouts in the month of April, so that broke his record of all last year. And in the month of May, he's batting .091.
Oof.
He had never hit below 280 in a month, but did that in April, and so far in May this season, .091. So the problem for Julio right now is plate discipline. Now, why does that happen? Well, pressure. Putting a lot of pressure on yourself. Let's step back to the offseason. New massive contract. where he was tabbed to not only be the face of the Seattle Mariners, but the face of Seattle, all Seattle sports. This guy's becoming a superstar there and was given this contract, which comes with so much pressure that you obviously put on yourself because you want to do well by the organization and the people that believe in you. So I truly believe to start this year, we're seeing a lot of struggles from Julio because he's chasing a lot of pitchers, because he's putting too much pressure on himself when really all Julio needs to do is be Julio. He is one of the best players in baseball and becoming a face of this game because he's just himself. He doesn't need to do more than he did last year. He needs to do exactly what he did last year, and he will be okay. I just think so far to start the year, he's putting too much pressure on himself. And I think maybe dropping him down in the lineup to the 6th spot, as we're seeing today and the last couple of nights, will be hopefully beneficial for him.
I think people forget from time to time, especially with these young superstars, they're human and they are young kids. And yes, okay, you can have a great big moment in your rookie season, your breakout season, whatever it may be. But then you have to remember, oh, I got to maintain that. I got to keep that up. And you're still human. You still have all the different feelings of excitement, nerves, everything that comes along, the pressure, as you mentioned, of being not only the face of a franchise, but the face of a city and possibly the face of the league, which was also the talk of everything, especially when you have such an incredible, what do they call it? Like the sophomore slump, which it's a very common thing. Like rookie year, incredible right out of the gates. This is a very common thing. Personally, I don't think there's a need to panic. It's still very early in the season. But yeah, it's a little concerning, but they're taking the right steps. Move him down in the lineup, take the pressure off, and just figure out what he needs to do. And players do like really weird things, like try to snap out of these little streaks.
Yeah,
like
I told a story last week.
The weirdest things. Whatever it takes, whatever he needs to do, it's a mental thing at this point.
We also need to remember that he is 22.
That's what I'm saying. He is a young kid. He's a young kid.
22 years old. By the way, speaking of players doing funky things to get out of, you remember the story I told last week about a teammate of mine putting on a pink thong to get out of a stretch? I got so many comments like, you were that teammate, weren't you? I was like, no, I swear to God, it was not me.
Prove it.
But I think Julio will be okay. And just the problem here is I think he's putting too much pressure on himself.
Yeah. So no need to panic, which now leads us to our next segment, panic or patience. Where, Ben, I'm going to give you a couple different teams, and you're going to tell me, are we hitting the panic button or slow your roll? Like, be patient.
Okay.
Everything's going to be okay. All right? Our first team, Julio's team, the Mariners. Are we hitting the panic button or are we being patient?
Okay, so I'm not hitting the panic button on Julio.
Yeah.
But I am on this team.
Ooh.
I think a lot of the additions that this team made haven't worked very well. And this isn't even, we can talk about Robbie Ray and how he was supposed to be a big part of the rotation and is now going to miss the entire season, unfortunately. But AJ Pollock, who was brought in to be an important platoon guy at minimum for this team, is batting 138 on the year. Teoscar Hernandez batting 215. Then you have Julio, who I said I'm not worried about, but right now hitting 205. I am worried. I'm worried because the reason I was a huge believer in this team is because of the pitching staff. And then you lose Robbie Ray, and it gets a little more questionable. And I'm really struggling to come around on this offense. I mean, you have guys that you brought in to really bolster the offense, but were they the right pieces? I didn't know from the beginning of this season if they did enough in the offseason to capitalize on being one of the best young, exciting teams in the game of baseball. And then look at where they are right now. They're in 4th place in the AL West.
Yep.
With getting contribution from Jared Kelenic that you didn't think. I mean, he's been one of the best players in baseball this year. Are you going to get that all year long? He's been a savior for this team to start the year. Can you count on him all year long? I don't know. Probably not to be as good as he's been all year long because he's been unbelievable. I am panicking a little bit with this Mariners team for all of those reasons.
Yeah, as you mentioned, being 4th in the AL West right now is really tough when you have the Rangers playing as great as they are Angels are doing everything they can to be in contention by the trade deadlines. You know they're going to be pushing. And then the Astros haven't been playing their best baseball. They're in third place. You know they're going to figure it out and come back and be great as well. So they have a steep hill to climb if they want to be in contention and make it to the playoffs.
Yeah, speaking of the Angels being in contention at the trade deadline, I saw something Thursday that said there was a report that came out that said the Angels have to have a complete collapse to even consider trading Shohei. So by all accounts, but a complete collapse. I mean, they'd have to be like 20 games out of it, but we'll see.
We'll see. Okay, moving on to our next team.
Yep.
In the same division, in the AL West, the Houston Astros. You hitting the panic button or just be patient?
So with the Astros, I'll say be patient. They're also right around the 500 mark, 19 and 18. But here's the reason I'm not panicking yet. And there are reasons to panic, obviously. Luis Garcia out for the year with Tommy John. What is going on with Lance McCullers? What's his deal? Some question marks there. However, the Astros are notoriously slow starters throughout this entire stretch of them turning into a potential, if not already, dynasty. You have Jose Altuve, who hasn't played a game this year, who will be coming back at the, fairly soon. I think within a month he should be on his comeback trail. Michael Brantley will be back. I know he had a brief little, I think they shut him down on his rehab stint, but I don't think that's a huge cause for concern. Apparently it's just like a little pause. So Michael Brantley. There are question marks again with Jose Abreu, who was the big signing, who does not have a home run yet this year, who's batting .218 with not a single home run. That's a problem, especially frustrating when you look around and the guy that you replaced him, the guy that you replaced in Yuli Gurriel is hitting .256 with 3 homers. Mm-hmm. But I'm saying not patient or be patient because Framber Valdez in that rotation, Hunter Brown has been really good as well. Christian Javier is a potential ace of a staff at some point. Pitching rotation, fine. Offense will be fine, and they're only going to continue to get healthier, on top of them notoriously being slow starters. So I'll say be patient with the Astros.
All right, next team. The Cleveland Guardians. You hitting the panic button or be patient?
Oh, I'm panicking with them.
Yeah?
I mean, it's been historically bad offensively. Just the 9th team since the year 2000 to have a .325 slugging percentage through the first 37 games of the year. They are dead last offensively in runs, homers, on-base percentage, slugging percentage, OPS, dead last in all of those. I'm very concerned about this Guardians team, and I don't see how you can't be hitting the panic button because the offense has been absolutely abysmal. So panic for the Guardians.
All right. Moving to New York, the Mets. Panic or patience?
I'm panicking if I'm the Mets as well. Right around the 500 mark. They've been dealing with injuries all year long. Max Scherzer has been dealing with either pitching and not doing well or injuries, getting scratched in his last start. There's been a couple of different injuries, all which could be hindering him on the mound when he does pitch. The offense is clearly missing a bat. They're missing a bat. And Steve Cohen knew as much when he went to sign Carlos Correa, said, we need another bat. Well, they're clearly missing it. So there's been talks. Finally, I was very, very vocal about the Mets needing to call up their young guys. They call up Brett Baty, and he's been very good. I also said they need to call up Ronnie Mauricio, and they need to switch his position and let him play somewhere else because Lindor is obviously going to play shortstop. Well, guess what? They did that. He's now playing another position in the minors, and all talks are that Ronnie Mauricio could get called up here within the coming days even. So to me, that screams they're hitting the panic button. What do we do? Yep. Offensively, we're reaching. We have nothing. We're really, really struggling. They're getting outscored in the first inning of games this year, 34-9. Oof. And with an offense that's struggling and a team that's supposed to be built around pitching that has a lot of injuries on the pitching side, starting a game from behind is very difficult for them. So they have a lot of holes, health being one of them, pitching-wise. Obviously, Justin has come back and has put together one good start and one very good start. That's big for them. They need to get healthier in the pitching rotation. And offensively, I think it's time to keep calling up the young guys because the current status quo of the offense has not been working for the New York Mets.
All right, staying in New York, the New York Yankees. Are we panicking or just be patient?
I think this one's going to surprise some people. I am panicking with the New York Yankees.
Okay.
Now, their record says fine, right? They're in fine shape.
They're in last place in the East.
Yes. However,
okay.
But that's why.
Yeah.
Record-wise, they'd be in first place in the AL
But they're in
Central.
probably the toughest division with Tampa, Baltimore, Boston, the Blue Jays, and then the Yankees.
As much as Yankees fans don't want to admit it, I think they will admit the Rays are the real deal.
Yeah.
You don't want to admit it, but the Jays are the real deal. And you also don't want to admit it, but the Baltimore Orioles are the real deal. So and the Red Sox have been a surprise so far. Do I think the Red Sox make the playoffs? I do not, but I could be wrong there because they're playing good. So you have all of these teams to jump on top of the team not playing very well. Obviously, Aaron Judge just came back, but they ran into the Oakland A's that they desperately needed to play, took care of business there. But the reason I'm panicking, they're in the bottom half of the league in both batting average and OPS. Offensively has been a struggle for them. The Carlos Rodon situation is just a head scratcher. What is going on? He resumed his throwing activities and then was again shut down, got a cortisone shot, and now there's no timetable for him to return. It was said that there was no pain, but he was just dealing with not feeling exactly right. But to me, a cortisone shot says pain. There is pain there. But then he's dealing with this injury with his back that he doesn't know what's going on there.
They think it's chronic, chronic pain.
Right.
So you're just living with that for your life.
So if you're just living with that, you gotta you have to start this process of learning how to pitch with it.
Yeah, you
which
gotta
I
deal
can't
with it.
imagine.
Maintain and manage pain for the rest of your life.
Which sounds
horrible.
Very difficult to do.
Yeah.
So I'm apparently his arm issue which arises in the offseason or in spring training is better, but now you're dealing with this. When does he return? Nobody knows. Nestor Cortez had so far this year a 4.74 ERA. There are big concerns with this Yankees team, and a lot are injury related, yes, but others aren't injury related, and others are also schedule and division related. They are in some trouble, so I am panicking, though their record is pretty good right now.
All right, and our final team, in panic or be patient, are the Philadelphia Phillies. What are you doing?
I am being patient with the Phillies. They are finally starting to get a little more healthy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Bryce Harper just comes back. Offense is getting there. They're getting healthier this weekend with Ranger Suarez set to make his first start. That is huge for them. Alex, you and I saw in the postseason how huge of an arm he is for that team. He adds much needed depth to a rotation with Wheeler and Nola where they desperately need pitching. And look, I've watched a lot of Phillies games over the past week. Craig Kimbrell looks really good. The guy's throwing 99 now. He's punching out guys. He's finishing games for them. Am I a believer in Craig Kimbrell yet? No, but he does look a lot better. There are reasons to be optimistic with this Phillies team. Suarez coming back, Harper being back, the team getting healthier. And I am being patient right now with the Phillies. With their offense, they're capable of rattling off a huge win streak when they get hot.
Which I feel like if we asked you this maybe 3 weeks ago, maybe it would have been the other way around. But there has been a change. There has been a shift, which is nice to see.
Yeah, Suarez coming back is very important. And they've been your up and down for 4 times this year.
They're a
one
roller
up, one down,
coaster.
one up, one
They're
down.
they've had a roller coaster season. They've been really great, and then it's what's going on, Phillies?
Yeah, and
Be better.
I truly don't think this offense has scratched the surface of what they will be. I do believe this is one of the best offenses in baseball.
Marsh has changed his swing and approach and just has become this incredible offensive force.
So patience with the Phillies.
Okay, I'm into that. You know what else I'm into? Things that make you go,
Yep, it's that time, my friends. So, Alex, that was good. You're getting better with that.
Thank you. I feel good about it. Our first one, I love. Are you ready for this? For things that make you go, Mookie Betts opts to stay in an Airbnb over a haunted team hotel.
So there are a couple well-known haunted hotels that teams stay at in Major League Baseball. One of them being Milwaukee, where the Dodgers played over the last few days. And Mookie Betts rented out an Airbnb just so that he would not have to stay in that hotel. Now, what he said about it, I think, makes it even more interesting. He basically said, well, I don't believe in ghosts, but I don't want to find out that they are real, which is just a great line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you. So, as you mentioned, there are some very well-known haunted hotels throughout Major League Baseball that teams stay in. One of them being in St. Pete when you play the Rays, the Pink Hotel. And I was on the road and I was being told about the haunted floor and rooms
and there's
that
a
are
wing
out.
That's haunted.
Yeah, that's at this hotel. As I'm checking in and picking up my key, everyone's kind of like laughing and joking. They put me in the haunted section. I believe in ghosts. I have seen things. I'm like totally like, I was having like a full-blown meltdown at the reception, just being like in tears. Like, I won't sleep. You have to change my room. Please. Is there anything we can do to change my room? Like, I can't do this. I won't sleep. And players talk about hearing like noises in the middle of the night, lights going on and off. Like, it is a full thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, great quote. Not staying there. Don't believe in ghosts, but don't want to find out about them either.
Yeah.
So I'll stay at an Airbnb.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
Good work. I would have done the same thing if I could.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on to our next things that make you go, Orioles City Connect jerseys were leaked, Ben.
Yeah. And they're awful. I mean, they're just boring. Like,
major WBC Great Britain vibes.
Yeah. So this is just a leak. So maybe it's not them, or maybe they'll see the public backlash and say, we got to change this up. But I do believe it is because the collar on the uniform, I think this is it. And it's just all black with block lettering. And then like just the collar is like an orange and white grid type feel to it. But there's been so many good City Connects, and I was so hopeful for the Orioles just because I love the color scheme, the black and the orange, and then these leaked, and it's not it.
Yeah, you could have done so
sort
much
of
more
had
with
me like,
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, moving on to our next. I don't even know how to do this one. Badoo getting hit where it hurts, Ben.
So,
was that a good?
So Akil Baddoo, yes. So this was unlike anything I've ever seen before. You've seen players get hit where it hurts in baseball and sports many times, but I've never seen it happen like this. Akil Baddoo was stealing second base. Ball gets thrown down to second base, and it does not go in the glove of the guy covering. It goes right into the family jewels from Akil Baddoo. No glove, nothing stopping it, just
like a direct hit.
90 miles an hour,
direct hit.
Straight down, direct hit, and he goes down. And to add insult to injury, the baseball hit him and bounces into the glove of the defender, and he's tagged out all in one fell swoop.
Oh, that was just brutal.
Yeah.
That was brutal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tough. 2 balls, 1 strike, if you will.
Nice.
Thanks. Okay.
Our next things that make you go, a questionable call on Yankees home run.
Yeah, I don't think this was even questionable. I think this was the wrong call. And it sort of goes back to the conversation that I had earlier this week in Honesty Hour, where replay needs an overhaul. So what happened in this game, Yankees hit a ball to the short porch in right field. Athletics defender goes back to the track, jumps up, and it's a ball that his glove was perfectly aligned to catch. And where was it going to hit? Well, we don't know, which adds to the entire point here. Was it going to hit the top of the wall? Was it going to go over the wall? Well, he was perfectly lined up to catch it wherever it was going to land, but a fan reached over the wall, clearly over, caught the ball, it went to replay, and the call on the field stands.
Like, their gloves touched. If that's not an indication enough
of
that,
fan
like,
interference?
He was over the wall, their gloves literally touched.
Yeah. I don't understand. I as I said Tuesday, I get frustrated with the call on the field stands being used as a crutch. Make a decision.
Yeah.
Was it fan interference or not? And I think you could heavily lean here. Can you say for 100% from the angles we got that he was over the fence, or 100%? Maybe it's 99%, but saying call on the field stands when it clearly looks like it, it was just, it's not right to me. So, yeah, that one had me going,
Okay. Our final things that make you go, Casey Schmidt missed his call-up to the big leagues.
Yeah, this was...
Yeah,
this
good.
is great. So Casey Schmidt had an awesome debut, by the way. Ends up getting the call up to the big leagues in his MLB debut. Hits a home run at home, San Francisco, deep, deep left center field. His family was in the stands going insane. It was an awesome moment, and I was so happy to see him. I love these things. I love these call-ups and the family being in the stands and having a great showing on the opening, or a great showing on your first performance. And I love hearing about the call-up stories and getting video of them. However, Casey Schmidt's call-up story got a little more interesting because he missed the call. He talked about it post-game. Let's listen to that now.
Where were you when you got the call?
So, funny story. I was actually I was watching Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yes.
In the theater?
Yes.
Yeah, I was in the theater.
And you had your phone on? Well, good thing you had your phone on.
Mondays are off.
No,
okay.
I missed the first call.
No.
I know. It was unbelievable. But yeah, I missed the first one. Then Brendy called. Our manager in Sacramento called like 5 minutes later. Then I saw it, and I went out to answer it. It was during like the ending credits, so it was the movie was already over.
I love him already.
Yeah.
I'm a big Marvel Guardians of the Galaxy fan.
Yeah.
So I just love that he was in the middle of it. He's like, yeah, no, I missed it. I was having a good time. I was watching the movie.
Yeah, great story. And then he finally got the second call 5 minutes later because the end credits were rolling. What if this was the beginning of the movie?
Right?
I mean, he could have missed the opening.
He
could have missed the flight to get there.
Epic. That was hilarious.
Yep.
Good for him. That's a fun.
Yep.
And that wraps up our things that make you go, So know what we're doing now? We're going to move on to one of the best series we got this weekend.
Yep.
In our tail of the tape, we are going Braves against the Blue Jays. We are each going to pick who we think has a better offense, defense, manager, starters, and bullpen. Okay? So let's go. Let's start with offense. And Ben, you're going first. Who you got?
I am going to take the two elite offenses here. I'm going to take the Atlanta Braves. I really like this Braves offense, and I think they're firing on all cylinders a little more at the current moment. I think both offenses, there's an argument here, but with the way the Braves are playing, I will take them, and everybody feels like is hot in that lineup. And Ronald Acuna is the clear favorite right now for NL MVP. So Sean Murphy, the names go on. I'll take the Braves.
All right. We are on the exact same wavelength here.
Okay.
I am also taking the Braves. And my first note was clicking on all cylinders right now, which is exactly what you had. They matched their team's best 35-game start in franchise history. As you mentioned, Ronald Acuna Jr. is just locked in. Sean Murphy has been swinging the bat great. Olsen, Albies, Orlando is back. I feel like he's going to pick it up soon. So, yeah, as you mentioned, both really strong offenses, but the Braves right now are just so locked in.
All right, we're both on the Braves there.
All right,
defense.
Who you got?
So I am going to take the Toronto Blue Jays here. Now, neither defense is playing very well this year. So the reason I went with the Jays is because I think they have the best defender on the field in Kevin Kiermaier out in center field. But really, it's a toss-up here. Not great defenses, at least not playing great right now all around. But I went with the Jays because Kevin Kiermaier is like elite out in center field.
Okay. I also went with the Jays.
Oh boy.
Because again, pretty equal numbers right now on defense between the two teams. But if I'm putting them like name to name against each other, I'm picking Chapman at third, Bo Bichette at shortstop, and Vladdy at first. So that I went with the Blue Jays for the infield.
Okay.
You went outfield, I went infield.
True.
Managers. Who you going with?
Manager, I'm going to take the Braves and Brian Snitker here. It just more so like what has John Schneider done to prove that he's a better manager than a World Series winner and Brian Snitker? And that's no discredit to John Schneider. He hasn't been bad ever since he's taken over in Toronto. Pretty good. But Brian Snitker, been there, done that, the old vet manager that has won. And, so I'm going to take him.
I also took Brian and the Braves.
Okay.
We are way too aligned right now. I just like what he's done to this young Atlanta team. And he turned them into a World Series championship team, one of the best teams in baseball the last handful of years. True competitors. So, yeah, I'm going Braves.
Okay. We're neck and neck at this point.
Okay, moving on to starters. Who you got?
Starters, I am going to take here the Toronto Blue Jays.
Oh.
Now, the Braves now have lost Max Fried for at least a couple months, I think.
2 months is what they said.
And hearing elbow, hearing forearm, hearing anything in this area, inflammation, strain.
Makes you think Tommy John.
Is very, very much so cause for concern and is the precursor for Tommy John. Now, I am not saying that he's going to need that. I'm just saying when the team immediately comes out and says he's going to be out for a couple months, and then you hear the injury, not good. And Max Fried is a huge part of that rotation. I'm taking the Blue Jays because, one, I think everybody in that rotation, Kikuchi's been really, really good. Jose Barrios has been pitching better. Kevin Gausman, Alek Manoah so far hasn't really become Alek Manoah, but whole starting rotation, top to bottom, I will take the Jays here because I feel like they're healthier and in a little better shape right now.
Well, thank God. We finally got one different. I am taking the Braves here.
Okay.
Now, although they took a big hit, obviously losing Max Fried for 2 months, they have Sean Murphy behind the plate, who has been absolutely incredible with this entire rotation. And when you look at the probable starters for this series, Friday, Spencer Strider against Chris Bassett. I'm going to take Strider. So that's Braves there. All right. Then you look Saturday, Bryce Elder against Jose Barrios. I'm going to take Bryce, who has the third best ERA in Major League Baseball right now. He's 3-0 with a 1.74 ERA. We don't know Sunday's starters, probable starters yet, but that's 2 out of 3. I'm taking the Braves here.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the first one we differ. All right, last one. Bullpen here. I am going with the Atlanta Braves. Raisel Iglesias back was great. Arguably the best in baseball from when he came over to the Braves last year. Now he's back and healthy. I believe this bullpen has so many good underrated names that they can throw out there. Nick Anderson, AJ Minter, Jesse Chavez, who's not a guy that you would expect, but has been getting
He's a veteran.
big outs.
He's been around the league.
Colin McHugh getting big outs. So I'm going with the Braves here in large part because I think they have more arms out there. Jordan Romano, though good, has also been struggling of late, but they struggled to bridge the gap to him. I'll take the Braves.
I'm also taking the Braves for all the names and reasons you just mentioned, but just to add to that, they have a better ERA than the Blue Jays. They have the 5th most strikeouts in Major League Baseball compared to the Jays that have the 17th. And the fewest walks given up in Major League Baseball. Yeah. So there's a little more locked in right now.
All right. So
I'm for sure taking the Braves.
No wager this week. I'm on the Braves too.
Okay.
So we're not on different sides here. Braves are playing like one of the best teams in baseball. So
they are.
That's our tail of the tape. Great weekend series. And before we finish up, Alex, a little bit of an extra innings because speaking of closers, we just talked a good bit about bullpens. Kenley Jansen earns a historic save over the last couple of days. Career save number 400. By the way, the guy is throwing absolute gas right now. Career resurgence. He's been dominant. But the reason this is extra innings is, one, because just a very good heartfelt story and a heartfelt interview after, which we have the sound for. So let's play that now.
Yeah, my body's shaking right now, man. It's crazy. Golly, I never thought I could do this. I never thought, my dream would be as a pitcher in the big leagues, I always thought I wanted to make it as a catcher, and golly, great choice.
How cool.
He's only the 7th pitcher in Major League history to record 400 saves. Like,
Wow.
that in itself is incredible. And another thing, in another interview, he mentioned how special it was that he kind of got to share that moment with Justin Turner, someone who he began his career with the Dodgers, and they just shared such an incredible embrace and moment of just like, look where we started, look where I'm at now, look what I was able to do. And I'm such a big fan of Kenley Jansen, obviously a big part of the Dodgers and their success back in the day. And congrats.
I think Kenley Jansen's career has been undervalued a bit. I think everybody knows he's good, but 7th closer in history to reach the 400 save mark is truly, truly remarkable. And you could hear it in that post-game interview.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because when Kenley first came on the scene, it was as a catcher, and it's like the first time that people knew the name.
Crazy to think about.
He was behind home plate, just throwing guys out at second, and was nasty. But this group of closers that he is now a part of the 400 save club: Mariano Rivera, Trevor Hoffman, Lee Smith, Francisco Rodriguez, John Franco, Billy Wagner, and Kenley Jansen.
You have to put him up as one of the greatest closers of our time.
Yep.
Yeah.
I agree.
With these numbers. You okay? Oh.
That does it
Close
for our
it out,
Friday
buddy,
episode, my friend. The Cowboy Hat is back on. I hope everybody has a great weekend. Saturday with Smoltz will be on, you guessed it, Saturday, tomorrow. Make sure you check that out. A couple of great stories. We talk a lot about Tony Gwynn and the quest for 400, and he shares some great stories. So thank you all for listening to this Friday episode. I hope everybody has a great weekend. Make sure you're subscribed, following wherever you listen to Flippin' Bats, Apple, Spotify, wherever. Hit that subscribe button. We're also on all social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and you can watch every single episode as well on YouTube at Flippin' Bats Pod for all of them. Have a great weekend, everyone. Until tomorrow, this has been another episode of Flippin' Bats. Peace.